Who's got the sweetest disposition? One guess, that's who. Who's never started an argument? Who never shows a bit of temperament? Who's never wrong, but always right? Yeah, who'd never dream of starting a fight? That's who. Who gets stuck with all the bad luck? No one but Donald Duck. Hey there, people of the interwebs. It's me, Brandon Noel. I wanted to start this episode off by playing you the theme song to the Donald Duck shorts, the classic Donald Duck theme song. But as I was afraid of incurring the wrath of the Disney lawyers, I opted not to play the theme song. There are far braver people on YouTube who have that available for you. I just read the lyrics. But yeah, today we are doing Donald the Duck, or Donald Duck. The reason why I'm jumping into Disney characters all this month, I'm going to be doing Disney characters, is at the end of the month, March 25th, at the 8-Bit Brewing Company in Marietta on Lemon Street, I'm going to be part of a artist showcase, a local artist showcase that is Disney themed. The whole event is hosted and ran by Ryan's Comics. It's a family-friendly event. Once again, it's Saturday, March 25th from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. at the 8-Bit Brewing Company. If you know anything about my publishing history, you know I published, or still publish, a pulp magazine called 8-Bit Pulp. So I love the fact that their brewing company is named 8-Bit. I'm going to have a lot of fun with that, and it's going to be a fun night. There's a special guest tattoo artist, Joey Chavez. It's going to be a fun, family-friendly event. Drink and draw raffles, all kinds of crazy fun stuff. So with that in mind, all this month I'm doing Disney. We're jumping into Disney characters on that drawing show thing. If this is the first that drawing show thing episode you've ever seen, I basically once a week sit down, draw a cartoon character, typically Saturday morning cartoon character, talk about where that cartoon character first entered my life, how I feel about it, what that character means to me personally. Donald the Duck, I keep saying Donald the Duck because I'm a bigger Daffy fan, but Donald Duck is, I don't remember a specific, introduction, right? Some of the Disney characters that Disney brand, they've always just been there. I do remember watching the shorts on Saturday morning, and I never liked Mickey's shorts. And growing up and looking back, the reason why I think is early Mickey's fun. Early Mickey is a rambunctious, kind of character, a wise guy. But as he became more the corporate mascot and the representation of the company, they had to tone him down. So, I was a bigger fan of Goofy and Donald by far. Goofy being my favorite. But Donald, they did a lot of nice stuff with Donald, especially in the comic books with Carl Barks, who was the Disney Corporation. To give you a little background, when it came to their comic books, they didn't put the artists' names on the books because they didn't want to break the illusion that other people were drawing the stuff other than the Disney artists. So they put Walt Disney's name on the comics, which is, kind of a little skeevy because Walt didn't actually draw even the shorts, right? He was not a figurehead. He was a very smart animator, very smart guy, very passionate businessman. But to my knowledge, I don't believe he actually ever sat down and drew anything. Oob was the Mickey Mouse guy, right? And you had other animators come in, Freddie Moore, and the Freddie Moore girls and all that kind of stuff. But he was a visionary, don't get me wrong, but he wasn't an animator. You know, he was a studio head. I'm curious to, now that I think about it, well, I knew he drew, but, like, I'm wondering if he actually had a hand in actually drawing any production art back in the early days. Anyway, my point being, the comic books were signed Walt Disney, so nobody knew who the artists were. Carl Barks comes along, takes over the Daffy Duck comic, becomes kind of a star on the book. And the fans were savvy enough to know it wasn't Walt, but they didn't know who the artist was, so he became known as the Good Duck Artist. And this is where you see, like, because Donald Duck was left to his own corner, with corporate looking over the Mickey stuff and maybe a little bit more of the Goofy, Donald Duck was allowed to evolve. Scrooge McDuck first appears in one of those Carl Barks comic books. Like, his whole world, the Beagle Brothers, the Duckburg, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, all that evolves out of the comic book. And so as appreciative of I am of the shorts and the character that was defined in those shorts, the cowardly duck, who's also like a contradiction onto himself, because if you piss him off, he'll rev up and throw blows. That's a fun character. That's a fun character to play with. But he wasn't allowed. What separates Donald from Goofy and Mickey, in my opinion, is those Carl Barks comic books. He was allowed to evolve. He was allowed to get in scrapes. Without those books, you don't get DuckTales. You certainly don't get the new rebooted version of DuckTales. And you don't get, just all these rich characters. Gizmo Duck, Darkwing Duck comes out of that universe. Like, the whole Berg kind of centric duck family is very important. I think kind of cool all on its own. It doesn't need Mickey. It doesn't need Goofy. Like, that whole duck verse is solid on its own. And I think that's pretty cool. So I am a fan of Donald Duck in that regard. And he's a fun character to draw. I love drawing ducks. I love the cartoon duck style. I did a book called Flatfoot McGee about a duck detective, similar to, in the vein of a couple of different things. But Donald Duck, is a forerunner of that kind of stuff. And I really do, I like a lot of that early duck stuff. I like the Carl Barks. I like the richness of it. I like the fact that Scrooge McDuck has character. Whereas, like, Goofy would eventually get some forward character momentum with Goof Troop. And the whole single father thing and all that kind of stuff. But Mickey was never allowed to grow. Mickey's still this kind of homogenized bubble of a character. Whereas, like, Goofy evolved. Donald definitely evolved. And so, like, that's one of the reasons why I like Donald Duck, is he stands apart from the rest of the Disney characters in that he has character growth. He has a family. He has Huey, Dewey, and Louie. There's a great comic book called Christmas on Bear Mountain that is just a Donald Scrooge story that takes place during Christmas. It's a beautiful, it's a tearjerker. It's one of the best comic books I think I've ever read, and that includes some of the Marvel and DC stuff. And like, I love the Huey, Dewey, and Louie aspect of it all. So that's why I'm talking about Donald Duck today. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe. All this month we're going to be doing Disney characters because of the Disney Showcase on March 25th at the 8-Bit Brewing Company. Have a good day. I'm going to be out there from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. Hope to see you there.